My friend, imagine you are holding a glass. Inside, it is a mysterious liquid, colder than ice, colder than anything your body was ever meant to touch. Someone says, "It will be fine. Just drink it." Would you? Today, we explore a strange and fascinating question. What if you drank liquid nitrogen? But this is not only a story about science, it is also a story about life. Because many of the most painful things we consume are not poisonous. They are simply things we accept without pausing to ask, is this good for me? We drink in anger. We swallow criticism. We consume endless distractions. We follow crowds without knowing where they are going. And sometimes, like a person carelessly drinking something they do not understand, we suffer because we acted before we became aware. So sit with me for a few moments. Take a slow breath, and let us begin. Liquid nitrogen is incredibly cold, around minus 196 degrees Celsius. It is not an ordinary drink. If it comes into contact with your mouth or internal organs, it can cause severe cold burns and dangerous tissue damage. And because liquid nitrogen rapidly turns into nitrogen gas as it warms, swallowing it can also create a rapid expansion of gas inside the body. In other words, my friend, this is not something to experiment with. And here is the wisdom hidden inside this frightening thought. Not everything that looks harmless can be safely consumed. A clear liquid may look like water. A beautiful opportunity may look like success. A popular opinion may sound like truth. But appearance is not understanding. During my travels, I once met a young man who was always rushing to try the newest thing, the newest business idea, the newest habit, the newest promise of happiness. One day I asked him, "Why are you always running?" He laughed and said, "Master, I do not want to miss out." I looked at him and said, "Perhaps your greatest fear should not be missing out. Perhaps it should be spending your entire life chasing things you never needed." He became silent. And in that silence, I saw that he understood. The body has a natural warning system. When something is dangerously hot, you pull away. When something tastes rotten, you become cautious. But the mind is not always so wise. We can consume harmful thoughts for years without noticing. Someone says, "You are not good enough." And we drink those words every day. Social media says, "Everyone else is happier than you." And we drink that comparison. The world says, "More money, more attention, more possessions." And we drink until our minds are overflowing. Yet happiness still does not come. My friend, before you consume anything, an idea, an opinion, a relationship, a habit, pause and ask, what will this become inside me? Because everything you repeatedly consume eventually shapes the person you become. There is nothing wrong with curiosity. Curiosity has helped humanity discover medicines, cross oceans, and understand the stars. But wisdom must walk beside curiosity. A person who touches fire to understand it may learn a painful lesson. A person who listens before acting may learn the same lesson without being burned. This is one of the greatest gifts of mindfulness. Mindfulness creates a small space between an impulse and an action. Someone insults you. Impulse says, "Reply immediately." Mindfulness says, "Wait. You see something exciting." Impulse says, "Buy it now." Mindfulness says, "Do I truly need this?" You feel lonely. Impulse says, "Run toward anything that makes the feeling disappear." Mindfulness says, "Sit with yourself. Understand what your heart is asking for." That small pause can save you from years of regret. There is an old lesson I learned from a teacher many years ago. A student came to him carrying a cup filled to the very top. The teacher asked, "Can I pour more into your cup?" The student said, "No, master, it is already full." The teacher smiled. Exactly, he said. And so is your mind. My friend, perhaps this is why so many people feel exhausted today. Their minds are full. News, notifications, arguments, expectations, regrets from yesterday, worries about tomorrow. There is no empty space left for peace. And when the cup is already full, even something good can cause it to overflow. So do not only ask yourself what more you need. Sometimes ask, what can I release? You do not always need more information. You may need more silence. You do not always need another goal. You may need gratitude for how far you have already come. Liquid nitrogen teaches us something strange. Under the wrong conditions, a moment of carelessness can have serious consequences. Life is also like this. One careless decision may not destroy your future, but a careless habit repeated every day can quietly shape your destiny. 5 minutes of distraction becomes an hour. An hour becomes a pattern. A pattern becomes a lifestyle. And one day, you wake up asking, where did all my time go? My friend, your life is not only made of years, it is made of moments. The conversation you keep postponing, the dream you keep delaying, the apology you refuse to give, the person you love but never tell. Do not wait for a perfect day. The perfect day is often just an ordinary day that you chose to appreciate. So, what if you drank liquid nitrogen? The physical answer is simple. It could be extremely dangerous. But the deeper question is this: what are you already consuming without awareness? What fear have you been drinking every morning? What distraction has been stealing your attention? What anger have you been carrying in your heart? What dream have you allowed others to convince you is impossible? Today, do not rush. Before your next decision, pause. Before your next reaction, breathe. Before you fill your mind with more noise, create a little space for silence. Because wisdom does not always shout. Sometimes, wisdom is the quiet voice inside you saying, wait, look closer, choose carefully. My friend, life is too precious to live unconsciously. Do not drink everything the world offers you. Choose what enters your mind. Choose where your attention goes. Choose who you become. And remember, the moment you become aware of your choices is the moment you begin to change your life. So, what if you drank liquid nitrogen? The physical answer is simple. It could be extremely dangerous. But the deeper question is this: what are you already consuming without awareness? What fear have you been drinking every morning? What distraction has been stealing your attention? What anger have you been carrying in your heart? What dream have you allowed others to convince you is impossible? Today, do not rush. Before your next decision, pause. Before your next reaction, breathe. Before you fill your mind with more noise, create a little space for silence. Because wisdom does not always shout. Sometimes, wisdom is the quiet voice inside you saying, wait, look closer, choose carefully. My friend, life is too precious to live unconsciously. Do not drink everything the world offers you. Choose what enters your mind. Choose where your attention goes. Choose who you become. And remember, the moment you become aware of your choices is the moment you begin to change your life. If this message made you stop and reflect, take a deep breath and ask yourself one question. What is one thing I need to stop consuming so I can make more room for peace? Share your answer in the comments. Your words may be exactly what another person needs to hear today. And if you want more stories that combine wisdom, mindfulness, science, and powerful life lessons, like this video, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Until next time, slow down, breathe deeply, and choose your life with awareness.